everyone! Once again, time for more Transformers, because you guys like me doing these ones. Eventually we'll have Met here once again to react to even more Transformers and, I don't know, do more stuff. But it's always good to see more of you guys. What'd you guys post there? Huh. Interesting. Unsubscribe clips? What? I don't even know what that's for. Oh my god. Anyway. What was I going to post where? Ah, yes, I was going to send that to Big Cat. Anyway, besides my rambling, Transformers has always been a thing in my life for everyone. Have you played War Robots Frontier? I do not like how those mechs look. That is the reason why I don't play it. I think I did play it once. I didn't really like it. Mech design is very important to me. I know for some people it isn't. I understand if you just like a good story, which, if it has a good story, that's a plus, but come on. The only fan service I care about is how them mechs look. Anyway. We'll do something. And see what we'll do. Transformers is good. Yes, das is good. Anyway. We'll head into this and see what you guys think. I don't know anything about Metalhawk, so this is going to be new for me. Like I said, I only know the big names, really. And I did watch the Bay movies. I think up until the third one. The third one was weird. First two, okay. No, wait. The next one after that was the Moon one, wasn't it? I remember watching that one. So after that, I just didn't watch. I didn't watch 4 or 5. I kind of watched the Bumblebee movie. Deploys countermeasures. What? Yes, Titanfall temp mechs do look cool. See you later, killer, and thank you for lurking.
There have been many Transformers stories about the Autobots and Decepticons coming to Earth in the ancient past and influencing our planet's history and culture. And in this episode, we're looking at the leading Autobot from one of the first. These are the basics on Earth's secret defender, Metalhawk.
Secret defender?
The original Metalhawk toy was released in 1988. Created exclusively for the Japanese market, the figure was one of the pretenders, Transformers who could disguise themselves as organic beings. The robot figure hiding inside a shell that looked like an armored human.
Which is strange to me. Why not just look like a human?
The toy transformed into a Cybertronian jet and was named for the fact it was partially constructed from die-cast metal, which had been dropped.
I've watched Transformers Prime Animated Armada, a bunch of others. But, yeah. I never knew, like, the big lore. I've never read the comics. Those were... I wasn't a big comics guy back then. Also, I didn't know where to find them. And yeah. Just a bunch of other stuff. Either way, what was I gonna say? Pretenders have always been weird to me because the focus is of, why would you want this? I just don't understand. I prefer the robots that turn into cars and trucks and dinosaurs and whatnot. I just don't see the point of them, really. You still... Oh! Trevix, I have good news for you. They're all on YouTube. I think the first and second season of G1 is on YouTube on, I think, HasLabs or Hasbro. The last time I checked, it's on YouTube. Either way, so you have any time you want, you can watch it. Free of charge.
From regular use in Transformers toys a few years earlier. Metalhawk was a major character in the Japanese original animated series, Super God Masterforce.
That name still makes me laugh.
He was the noble and dedicated leader of a team of Autobot pretenders who crashed on Earth during the Stone Age, after pursuing a group of Decepticon pretenders to the planet. American media interpreted the Pretender toy gimmick literally, depicting the Transformers as actually concealing themselves inside giant biomechanical shells. But Masterforce took a different approach to the concept.
Okay.
Here, the Pretenders actually had the power to shrink
Oh,
themselves
I
down
see.
and convert their metal bodies into organic form.
That's silly.
Using this ability, Metalhawk and his comrades disguised
No problem.
themselves as human beings and integrated into early human society,
I
helping
see.
to guide the evolution of mankind while protecting
What?
them against the Decepticons. The Pretenders lived human lives on Earth for thousands of years. In the present day, Metalhawk, using the simple human alias Hawk, worked at an astronomy
usually like
research
names
center
Hawk.
run by his human friend, Professor Go, to whom he disclosed his true identity as a Transformer. But when the Decepticon Pretenders resurfaced, he once more shed his human disguise to lead the Autobots in defending the Earth.
What kind of
This
blast is
renewed
that?
conflict saw the Autobot ranks expand to include the Headmasters and Godmasters, human beings who
Godmasters is such
combined
a
with
strange name
robot
to me.
bodies to become Transformers themselves. And about halfway through the series, Metalhawk chose to step down as Autobot leader, handing over command to one of these new warriors, the Godmaster, Jinrai.
Oh yeah,
at
he
last
basically
able to
just
place
Optimus
the defense of Earth
in terms
in
of
the
design.
hands of one of its own people.
Not the
Metalhawk
worst
also
idea.
featured in the Masterforce manga and
This is somewhat interesting, although it is kind of silly how they basically just change size and turn into humans on will. At least in my opinion. Not really sure what they were going with there, but you know. Guess that's the thing. Either way, Metalhawk is kind of silly to just name him Hawk. I've been disguised as a human for so long now. Alright.
other assorted Japanese tie-in media and merchandise. But his toy was never released in Hasbro markets, and it would
really?
be over 2 decades before the character would make it to the West.
I'm surprised. I thought Pretenders were
Transformers
released in the
animated
US.
art director Derek J. Wyatt had wanted to include
He looks like
Metalhawk in that
Bumblebee
series, but this didn't
to
come
me.
to pass before its cancellation in 2009. Instead, Metalhawk made his English language media debut in 2010, when he appeared in the Wings universe series of stories from the
And they
Transformers
just transform into
Collectors
vehicles. So
Club.
do I.
These adventures, set in the earliest days of the war on Cybertron 9 million years ago, depicted Metalhawk as the leader of a unit in the Autobot Elite Guard, who was killed by Turncoat ex-guardsmen, the Combaticons.
Immediately dead.
Metalhawk achieved wider fame when he appeared as a main
this
cast member
series.
in the 2012 IDW
I like the
publishing
designs in
comic
here.
book, Robots in Disguise. In this series, he was one of many unaffiliated Transformers
he
who had
didn't
left
have a
Cybertron
side.
long ago to escape the war. When these neutral bots returned to the planet in the present day after the conflict had finally ended, Metalhawk became their representative and began working
cool.
with Bumblebee and Starscream to try and establish a new post-war government on the planet. Considering the Autobots just as responsible as the Decepticons for
I
perpetuating
feel like
the
that's
war,
not
he treated
right.
Bumblebee with a snide and passive-aggressive attitude, feeling that his methods only prolonged division and conflict between the
I
factions.
feel like that's wrong, mostly due to the fact of the Autobots only formed quite literally after the Decepticons started attacking. They were a group made to resist the Decepticons. They literally fight for their own defense, for their own independence, basically. They keep the Decepticons from taking control. And, you know, ruling with an iron fist, because, Megatron doesn't exactly share well. Especially when people even lose on his side. Look at what he did to Tripticon in the games. Yeah, so fighting is a much better option than, you know, just letting him take control.
Conversely, he respected Starscream's genuine desire to make a united future for the planet, and the pair became friends. Unfortunately, it was a friendship that couldn't survive Starscream's lust for power. He murdered Metalhawk and pinned the crime on rioting Decepticon dissidents, allowing him to blame Bumblebee for failing to keep the peace on the planet, and thereby convince the populace
Of course,
to choose him
Starscream
as
did that.
Cybertron's new ruler. Metalhawk was briefly resurrected through the power of a restorative ore created by Shockwave, and was used as a pawn in the Decepticon scientists' plan to dominate Cybertron. but he managed to regain his right mind and chose to sacrifice his life once more to foil Shockwave's scheme.
Good.
Coincidentally,
Shockwave always
at the
tries
same
crazy
time he
shit.
was enjoying his biggest role since Masterforce in IDW's comics, a new toy of Metalhawk was released exclusively through official...
I see what you guys are saying right here. The toy looks interesting, though. Depending on kind sometimes Autobots appear first. In the IDW, the Autobots were very much in control of everything, the cons being formed by mistreatment. Oh, yeah, that was a thing. I think I remember Met telling me a bit about that, but still, when it comes to Megatron, he always goes off the wall. Like, I still remember the part where someone told Megatron, you're going to ram the ship in here? We're gonna be destroyed. They immediately shoot Steve Bloom. He's like, anyone else have any objections? Like, I get, rising up, but, yeah, it's, how should I put this? Yeah. I would never join a group called Deceptive. But then again, this June was always crazy. Megatron's always crazy in one way or another, isn't he? Like, I don't think of a time when he isn't. Oh.
Convention Botcon in 2012. A retool of Transformers Generations Thunderwing. This figure converted directly from Metalhawk's Pretender form.
It puts everyone
to a jet.
beneath them. Pretty much!
The toy earned Metalhawk a role in
I do like how the saying of it originally started a fight for independence, but it slowly turned into a lot more than just independence. It turned into anyone that isn't under my heel will be destroyed. It gives an interesting idea of how movements can change.
the convention's exclusive comic book, which was set in the world of the original Marvel Transformers comic series, as one of a group of heroes fighting off an incursion of evil Autobots from a mirror universe.
Oh.
As a piece of American media, this story featured a version of Metalhawk who wore a Pretender shell.
But
further stories released through the Collectors Club in 2016 would change this. In these adventures, Metalhawk and the Pretenders traveled to the Earth of another dimension, where, in homage to Masterforce, they adopted a combination of shrinking and hologram technology to assume realistic human forms and integrate into the planet's society to act as its protectors, defending it against the Decepticon combiner, Thunder Mayhem.
What the hell is Thunder Mayhem? Oh, wait, I think Matt told me about him quite a bit. Well, not that much, but yeah, Thunder Mayhem is a thing.
Thanks to all these stories, along with subtitled DVD releases of the Masterforce cartoon, making the character better known to Western audiences, more new Metalhawk toys were soon to follow. The first was released in the Titan's Return line
this one looks
in
cool.
2017,
I like the design of the
available as
vehicle
part of the
form.
Siege on Cybertron box set. A recolor of the Decepticon Trigger Happy, it transformed into a starfighter.
Just
and
a
like
recolor.
most figures in the line, its head could disconnect and transform into a tiny Titan Master robot, who was named Professor Go, in homage to Metalhawk's human friend from Masterforce. The original toy's Pretender gimmick was reimagined for 2018's Power of the Primes. This series reinvented Metalhawk as a Prime Master, a small robot containing the power of Vector Prime, one of the legendary original 13 Primes, which he could grant to other bots by transforming into Spark mode and plugging into larger figures. To shield his power from detection, the Prime Master hid himself within an armored shell, which could also convert into a blaster that bigger bots could wield. The newest Metalhawk figure was released in the Transformers Legacy.
I will say I do like his design at the very least.
A heavy retool of the Decepticon
those
from the 2021
guns look very
Kingdom
hollow.
series. Based on the original toy's inner robot, it's the most accurate-looking Metalhawk toy yet released in the 21st century.
I kind of wish I could buy all these toys.
Legacy as
if I ever have kids, I kind of want them to have cool toys like this.
Slowly but surely worked his way to international fame.
Yeah.
And those are the basics on Metalhawk. Where did you first encounter this protector from the past? Let me
Well,
know in
just
the
now,
comments.
honestly.
Subscribe for more Transformers history and lore from around the world, and be sure to come back next week for the first in a series of new Rise of the...
Well, I will say this. I think the Pretenders are a bit silly. Don't get me wrong, Transformers hiding as humans would be a good idea, but the toys look silly and not very articulated most of the time. And having such small Transformers inside makes it look goofy, but welcome back. I will say this, what do you think of Metalhawk and the Pretenders? Maybe we'll look at more Pretenders. The only Pretender that I know existed was originally, from what I remember when I first saw them, was in that movie where like Sam Witwicky gets like this one girl just keeps lusting after him, and it's actually a Transformer that's a Pretender trying to basically mind jack him and see what's inside his head. That was weird. That was very weird. I'm not gonna lie about that. Anyway, if you like what I'm doing here and you definitely want to see more, comment what you want to know. You know, subscribe to all that nice stuff, send a like if you really like it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.